Hello and welcome. My name is Amanda and this is my channel, Her Pacific Northwest Washington Life. And today I wanted to share with you my TBR for the Make Your Myth Taker Readathon that is happening the whole month of June. This is a readathon that was created by Ashley over at A Frolic Through Fiction and Charlotte over at Bookmarks and Vlogging. I will leave a link to both of their channels down in the description box below, as well as the link to Ashley's announcement video. There's so much that went into this readathon that I'm not going to sit here and give all the information just because I didn't create it, and Ashley will do a much better job at explaining her readathon than I could ever do. I know I would definitely miss a lot of the details. So for this readathon, it is kind of an offshoot of their monthly book club, which is called Myth Take. And Myth Take is a book club where they pick books and focus on like fairy tale retellings and myths and other things like that. So I've not personally participated in the book club, but it does sound like it would be something up my alley. And I saw this announcement video and thought this would be a fun readathon to participate in for the whole month of June. So you can find more information obviously on probably Charlotte's channel as well as Ashley's. There's a Twitter, there is an Instagram page, that might be it, that might not be it. But the hashtag to find everything for this is Make Your Myth Taker. And I think that's about it. There are a couple rules within this. So you do have to declare your TBR, which means once you've declared your TBR, you cannot change it. The only way to change it is if on the third prompt of your path that you decide to take, you want to cross over to the companion character, I guess you could say. That's the only way you can change it, and I think those are the big rules. I'm pretty sure. Like I said, Ashley's video will have all the information and what you can and can't do within this. So I have decided to go with the sorcerer card, I guess, and within that there are 4 different characters you could go with. I am choosing the path of the faerie. So the first reading prompt for the faerie is to read a book featuring the fae, and for this I am reading Veins of Magic by Emma Hamm. This is the second book in the Otherworld series, and it follows the events right after Heart of the Fae. So we are following Sorcia again after she has failed in her quest to get Aemon to leave the island and come with her so that she can find the blood beetle plague cure, so that she can cure her sisters and her father. Aemon is I believe he's the eldest of twins of a fairy king and queen, and he was banished onto this island because he has some physical deformities, and so they basically don't want him to be king because he's not this perfect image of what they want him to be. So this is actually a bit of a retelling. It is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, though it is set in Ireland, so that's kind of a fun little twist on it. You've got Sorcia, who's obviously very beautiful, and then you've got Aemon, who's a bit of a beast, locked up in this castle all alone, and just kind of a broody, I don't want to trust anybody or rely on anybody since the world has already, you know, not been very kind to me. So I'm excited to see where the rest of this series goes, because I did read Heart of the Fae in March for the Irish Readathon, and so I'm really looking forward to seeing what else we uncover within these books. The next prompt, this is for all of these, the second prompt on the card, I don't remember what they called that, is the same for every path there. So all of the sorcerers need to read a book with a foiled cover. This book, I may have to swap out if I find out it doesn't have a foiled cover. So right now I am planning to read The Gold Sun by Carrie Ann Noble, and I own this on Kindle and Audible, and there's a lot of gold on it. I just don't know for sure if that is just like ink or if it's actually foiled on the cover. I did put out a tweet to see if anyone knows for sure. I've also scoured the internet looking on Google image search and Instagram and things like that to see if I can find out for sure if the cover's foiled. It looks like it is, but I'm not 100% sure. So I have a hard time like just saying and committing this book to this readathon. If I find out, like if I'm able finally to go out to bookshops and they open before I get to this prompt, I will try and see if I can get my hands on a physical copy and see if it's foiled. Otherwise, I'm basically going to rely on what I can see in images. And if anybody has a physical copy and can tell me for sure if it's foiled, that would be very helpful. That would be the only time I would break the rules of this readathon and swap out my book, is if I do find out for sure it's not foiled. But basically this book, I don't know a whole lot about it. I picked it up because it was on sale on Kindle for like 99 cents or something like that, and it sounded intriguing. It follows a 16-year-old boy, and I believe there may or may not be goblin markets within this story. So it sounds like fun. But that will be my second book, assuming I don't have to swap it out. The next prompt is to read a book featuring woodlands. And on the third prompt, I think I just said second, on the third prompt is the only time that you can change your pathway and change your TBR. So you would have to hop over to the character that correlates with your character. So for this, I'm not planning to. A book that features woodland for me is going to be Blanca y Roja by Anna Marie McLemore. This is a book that I have anticipated reading since it came out in October of 2018, and it's always been a springtime book to me because it is a Swan Lake retelling. And I just always read other books during that season, so then I would put it off for a full another year. And I think part of the reason is that Swan Lake is one of my favorite ballets, and I'm scared that I might be let down by this, though I've loved the 3 other Anna Marie McLemore books I've read before, so I don't think I will be. But there's just that anticipation that I have set this on such a high pedestal and it's not going to live up to what I have thought it would be, that I think is what's holding me back. But now that it's on this TBR, and if I want to finish this readathon, I have to read it and I can't switch it out, and I can't prioritize something over the other, because I do believe you have to go in order and finish like your first book before you move on to your second, before you move on to your third. So basically this book follows 2 sisters, Blanca y Roja, and I don't think they like each other so much. And there's a bevy of swans that live in the woods near them, who I believe put a spell on one of the sisters to turn them into a swan. There's also brothers, and so I think there's going to be a bit of a romance, just judging based off of the other books I've read by Anna Marie McLemore. So I'm really excited to get into this, and I'm glad that it is part of a readathon where I have to read it. I cannot swap it out, cannot just choose not to read it, and things like that, because then it's actually going to make me read it. And even though June is summer, it's still close enough to spring where I feel like this is going to fit in very nicely. The last prompt is to read a book outside your comfort zone, and for this I am reading The Fork, the Witch, and the Worm by Christopher Paolini, which from my understanding is a book of like kids stories in Allegasia. So fantasy is my favorite genre, and because this is such like a heavy fantasy kind of retelling based readathon, I do have 2 retellings in there. I wanted to keep it to all fantasy books. So the reason this is outside of my comfort zone is because it is short stories. I haven't gotten along very well with short stories before, mostly because I like a world to be fully developed. Like I'll take a 10 book series over a standalone just so that I can have those characters and the world built up to be everything that I want them to be. So I'm hoping that because I've read all of the Aragon books, or the inheritance cycle, is that what it was called? I think that's what it's called. So I'm hoping that because I already have that foundation, this is just going to enhance the world a lot more, even though it is like short fairy tales and stuff that take place within it. I think it'll help to build that up. And that even though they're short stories, it'll just be a lot of fun to read. This is also very short. It looks kind of chunky, but it's not, and the print is really big, so I feel like I'll be able to get through this fairly quickly. And I'm excited to kind of round off the inheritance cycle and read the short stories book. This is volume 1, so I don't know if Christopher Polini is gonna write more. It'd be cool if I like this, if he does. I think that would just be a lot of fun for those of us who grew up with Aragon and this nostalgia of it, to just have more things to build that. So that is everything for my Make Your Myth Taker TBR. I'm really looking forward to all the stories I'm reading, or I will be reading, the books that I'm picking up. And I think that the Path of the Fae is going to be really good for me. I really like the prompts and what I've been able to fit into them. So I would love to know if you are also planning to participate in this readathon, and if so, which pathway you're going to choose. If you're going to stick with one character, or if you plan to cross over, and what you plan to read. So if you have a TBR video and would like to link that in the comments below, please do. I'll definitely check it out. Or if you just want to tell me what you plan to read, that would be cool as well. So please do let me know. I guess just everything related to this video, this readathon. Also, if you know for sure if the Gold Sun has a foiled cover, just let me know everything down in the comments below, and I will chat with you there until my next video. Bye!